So back when it was still warm enough to wear dresses, my friend Joriam and I recorded something that the world builders and armor enthusiasts among you might just enjoy. But I'll let him explain.
Here's the game we're going to play. I asked Jill about a fantasy series that she never really explored in her life, and we found one that's very rich and lovely world building, and she has no experience with, which is Magic the Gathering, a game that I've been playing since about 8 years old. So what I'm gonna do today is show Jill a bunch of armor, and she's gonna have to find out, what are these people trying to fight against?
Let's do it.
Okay. This guy.
Oh.
Have a look at this
wow.
armor.
Okay. Well, I see that he is of the pauldrons of self-decapitation persuasion. Excellent. I love the spikes. So I look at the spikes on the pauldrons and I think to myself, are the spikes on the pauldrons decorative, or are they to make you horrible if something very large tries to eat you? Like, are you fighting something so giant that you need the spikes on the pauldron so that if it tries to bite you, it will spit you out? Don't know. He's got a sort of pirate hat on. Well, it's like pirate or highwayman is what that hat says to me, so who knows? Well, he's in a medieval village with spikes around it, so clearly they're trying to keep something out, but the wall isn't very big. So, you know, probably not like enormous things or things that can jump very high. Those are some bracers and some arms. You know, clearly he has been working out. So he's got one giant serrated sword and one little dagger. Fair enough. Like he's pretty well covered with very large chunks of metal and things that might not be metal. Who even knows? Like there's magic in this universe, so
No, okay, but don't try it yet. I'm gonna show you 3 different characters.
Oh, okay.
And then from those patterns, because there is one characteristic here that gives it away. And can you spot it?
All right.
I had to cover what this lady is interacting with, or else it's too easy.
I mean, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
But here we are.
She also has the hat. I like the hat and the and some heraldry, which is nice. So in terms of things which are similar, I mean, they're wearing basically similar armor. So they've got pauldrons, they've got this funny helmet thing, they've got a breastplate, and they've got these things that cover their thighs. Not so much lower down. Okay, and she's got a slightly shorter sword, which I feel like would be better, honestly, because the giant ones are very unwieldy, but you know what, man, you do you.
Right, let's go for the last one then. Just also share that characteristic. Oh, I also had to cover something on... actually, this something is not even what they fight for, it would just throw you off. Alright,
so very similar. Different style of hat, but still the pauldrons with the spikes on them. I'm pretty sure that's just stylistic though, because people like spiky things. Single-handed sword and a lantern because it's nighttime. I don't know if that's significant or not.
Here's what you're gonna figure out about Magic the Gathering. They have a very strong art direction, it's really great. Their world building team is probably the best in the world. But one good thing that they do is that they also let the artist play a little bit with their art direction. So maybe the shoulders and the hat have been, you know, they gave them a guide on how to do those, but then this artist was like, I like those weird little paw spikes.
Don't like the tricorn hat, thanks.
Those spikes are better, and it's very nice that the team actually allows the artist to go a little bit crazy.
What's up with the belts? They all have this like double belted thing, and then random like it's very Pirates of the Caribbean. Like Jack Sparrow, let's just give him 18 belts. Why does he have 18 belts? I assume because, you know, he has lots of things to hang on there, but they've all got loads of belts, despite not really necessarily having anything on them, which is interesting, but there we go.
You know what they say, pants come and go, but belts are for life. Alright, it's time for you to make your call, Jill. What are these people fighting? Give it your best shot.
Okay, human-sized monster or smaller. Something with lots of teeth because they've got a lot of stuff like here. Like if it were a boar type thing, you'd probably have a spear, but I don't know if Magic the Gathering would necessarily know that, but I assume that they do. So I'm gonna say something that's like wolves, maybe? Something that's kind of smaller than human size, but kind of scary, has lots of teeth. You can stab it with a sword and also get it with a dagger. That's my best guess. It's probably not dragons, everything, you know, it's like, it can't be anything too big because they don't have anything that's ranged. So it's clearly not something that's like giant. So my wolves are my best guess here. Magic wolves.
Okay. It is, in fact, children. No, not really. It is vampire.
It is vampire. Okay. Well...
It is vampires. But honestly, you're not very far away because this set also has werewolves.
Okay.
Yeah, the greatest threats are the vampires, but the werewolves are there. You can see on the background here the trophy for werewolf hat.
Okay. Well, I feel good about getting it very wrong, but, you know, like, slightly right?
No, when you said like a human size, perhaps small, and my next image was two children. I was like, how did she do that?
Child. Evil children. That's who we're fighting.
Blimey. But yeah, those were vampires. That was the easy one, Jill. It gets complicated from now on. But here's a little detail. The vampires also have their own battle attire, and I find it interesting that the vampires also have those neck protections against vampire bites.
Yeah, well, don't you kill vampires by, I mean, you kill vampires by staking them, but you can also kill vampires by taking their heads off, so you'd want something that protects your neck to keep your head on your shoulders. Oh. But obviously you can't have a helmet because that would ruin the coolness factor.
We're gonna get to some helmets, I promise. But I thought it was more of a fashion thing, you know, the humans used it for protection, but then the vampires were like, that's actually pretty cool. What do you think of the sword, Jill?
I love it, I do. It's sort of like, when you make a sword, so if you have you can see it very clearly on a fencing sword, but what you have is basically a cross-section, and then there's sort of a triangular notch-shaped section taken out of it. It's called the fuller. This is not to let the blood drain out of your wounds, and it's not for anything like that. It's just because, like steel I-beams, you can take a lot of material out of the middle and still have it maintain its structural integrity. So it's kind of like they thought, well, you take the stuff out of the middle, let's make like the I-beam equivalent of a sword. Don't know how structurally sound it would be, but it does look really cool. And if you're a vampire, you know, if you're a grown-up vampire, you need to like get fully into the leather and the spikiness. Otherwise, what are you even doing?
Yeah, I wonder why the people in the village put the wooden spikes, because, you know, the lady's flying. Yeah, you know.
She is very, very well covered. You just have to go straight for the head.
Okay, so now we go into a completely different world that does not interact with what we saw before. Erase it from your head and just open your heart to what's about to come. Here we are.
Ooh.
This lady.
Okay. That's an enormous bow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so clearly something scaled much, much bigger than the last world. So could be dragons, who knows? Ooh, she's got those funny glasses on though. Like jade or emerald or something. So what my immediate thought is, like, she's got pauldrons, but I think they're really just for show.
Okay.
I think that the glasses, the fact that the glasses match the giant arrows means that we're looking at something that's really big, but that if you look at it directly without this thing, then you're gonna die somehow. That's my initial thought is like Harry Potter basilisk, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have more images, so then you can find patterns. Okay, so now this is more of a foot soldier, more of a vanguard kind of attire, but now we go into more of a commander figure.
Okay.
And you can there's some background here to work with also.
That's true. Wow, those are absolutely giant bows. Whatever it is, it's absolutely flippin' massive. Everybody loves their emeralds. Maybe they're just really good for night vision goggles in this universe. Who knows? I'm still thinking giant snake-like things, except because they're bows, given the size of the bows, I'm now thinking like dragons and things that can fly. Let's see the next one. That lady's got 2 daggers. Either these things come in different sizes, or that other thing was like some kind of siege engine and I'm totally off here. But everybody else has very large weapons for fighting very large monsters. So I'm gonna go with enormous dragons, which also have like tiny dragon. Like the thing that they fight is some kind of dragon, but it comes in giant sizes, which is why you need the giant bows with the emerald in them to kill them, and also why you need the little tiny daggers in case they're baby dragons. I don't know. Okay. Maybe she just likes daggers and is not very efficient.
Okay, so drum roll. What they're fighting is this.
Is that a shark bear?
I don't know. They're also fighting this.
Okay, that's that is what Nemo wants to become. That's why he eats so much. He wants to become a cat that's as big as a mountain. I keep telling him that this won't work. He'll just get cat diabetes, but he doesn't listen to me.
Hey, he has something to aspire to right now. You are not very far away, honestly. The name of this set, the name of this world is Ikoria, and the name of this set is Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths. So you were on spot, but also they put some weird. I don't know what's that.
It's like Sharknado, but
yeah. So this
wow.
is one of the big bad guys that look exactly what a behemoth would look like in a geek's mind.
Amazing.
Like mine. But we also have like a magical otters.
I mean, at least the magical otters, at least the dagger lady would be good for something, because I looked at the giant cat and I'm like, you're just going to annoy it if you stab it with those daggers. That's just like stepping on a Lego.
So I knew you would talk about the daggers. Oh yeah, before we get to that, they made a little collaboration with the Godzilla IP, and they made some like Godzilla magic cards. So this is the inspiration, this kind of giant
I love it.
monster.
Amazing.
But anyway, they made clear to show how armor is useless. So there's a couple of cards that reference that, and if you're going to be devoured whole, you might as well be wearing 4 belts.
Like, if you're going to be eaten whole by something that's 100,000 times your size, then you want to be as fast as possible, because maybe you can get out of the way, rather than, armor's gonna do nothing.
Okay, again, going to a completely different world. Ignore everything you saw up until this point. New vibe.
New vibe.
And this is what I got for you. Look at these people.
They're very edgy. That's not armor so much as kind of maybe lightly protective clothing. So she's doing something magic and has a little dude on her shoulder here. So I assume that is part of what they are using to fight against whatever it is they're fighting against. The vibe is very slightly grimdark dystopia. She even has a little eyebrow notch. I love it.
Okay, let's go for the next one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got one too. It's I mean, that was really, really popular when I was about 15 as well. I'm not sure if it's ever come back into fashion since then, but 20 years ago, that was the height of something.
We should do it, Jill. We should be edgy.
2002 edgy,
It's all we got, all right? It's all we got.
We continue the kind of slightly goth theme, but the makeup looks very enjoy Kiss videos, you know. We've got light magic people and oogie smoke magic people. I assume that they're going to be fighting exclusively magically, and so what they are fighting is ghosts, phantoms, something that requires magical, interference, because they don't seem to be particularly concerned about something attacking them physically based on how they're dressed. Either that, or they're really good at making, magic shields or something.
Last one I got for you is the top goth vibe we can get, because it's literally a vampire.
Amazing.
Goes more or less in the same direction, gives you new information.
That is very Victorian. It's a very Victorian goth. I like it. It's very much a look. My best guess is something that is non-corporeal.
Okay.
Like ghosts or something, because they're using magic-y things to beat it rather than sticking it with a big spear or something.
Okay. So the truth is that was a trick question.
Okay.
Because
are they the baddies? Hans, are we the baddies?
I think they are, but in a way, but in a kind of like a Slytherin way. That the baddies, but they're gonna be redeemed in the end. But the truth is that they're kind of like the debate club / creative writing magic course. They're not really fighting anything.
What's with all the ghosts? Why do they keep making little
I mean, what do you learn in Magic University? To make ghosts.
Fair enough. I mean, the other people can make lights, which is at least helpful when it's dark,
And they study in this kind of Hogwartsy Magic University, and maybe you could have noticed that they all use the same symbol that is a fountain pen, and it's everywhere in the clothing. Because they're the edgy writers. They're all Neil Gaiman, and yeah, they're mostly fighting their own tests and fathers. That's
What are we fighting? Our own daddy issues. Excellent.
I mean, this is why you get the eyebrow thing, right?
Oh dear.
And yes, the deans are also totally in the same drip, which is fantastic.
That's wonderful. And some of them are vampires, but I assume not all of them are vampires?
No, just some of them. It just happens. But hey, if you look at the biology students, like this is not proper drip, You don't go to Hollywood with this. And if you look at the mathematicians, they're like actively trying to hurt themselves. What is this?
That is, yeah. I don't know. I feel like she's doing some kind of collaboration with the biologists with that outfit. Just don't raise your arms, madam. Otherwise, you're going to be in a world of pain.
I absolutely love this painting, but come on, this choice in fashion. My boys, Silver Quill, they really got their style right. So now we go to sorry, I hit my camera. We go to our last world again. Ignore everything I saw until now, and now we go to the really.
I mean, not like that would necessarily help. I have not really been, particularly good up till now. Maybe I can redeem myself and actually get one right.
Hey, you did great. You almost got the children right, and I was like, what? What?
To be fair, it all went downhill from there. But Okay, hit me with the last one. I'm ready.
But now we got to the difficult level, okay? If you get this one right, I'll pay a ticket to Disneyland. But you have to get it just right.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So this is how they dress. Okay?
Okay.
What are you getting from that?
Well, pirates. Obviously, they're clearly on a ship. Everybody's wearing kind of, well, sort of ship crossed with military, but like that the bandana is very much not military, so they're seagoing folks. That guy's got an axe, sort of. This guy's got an... Is it? Well, I suppose, yeah. If it's an anchor, it's like half an anchor, because the other side isn't on there. That's weird. But anyway, that guy's got a cutlass, standard. This guy's got a harpoon gun. So, with a big, which is shaped like a sea monster. So my initial thought is, things that look a bit like that. Sort of sea monsters in general. But we'll see. They also have cannonballs. So, clearly, if they're not fighting other ships with those, then they're fighting things which are relatively big.
Good thinking. So next one is this one here.
What is that?
Which part confuses you?
I mean, it's a very dynamic picture, I like it. Like, composition-wise, it's very cool. She seems to be, first of all, skating along the water. Like, she can walk on water. So that's pretty cool. What's confusing me is the weapon, which I must assume is either... is magical in some way, or like, has, maybe it's like a magical taser or something, because it's blunt. There is no sharp surface on that. Yeah. It's got like the two prongs. You could hit them in the side with it, and it goes zzz.
Love it. You're hired.
She also has tiny knives. Interesting. And there's that kind of sea monster motif again on her shoulder. So yeah, I'm impressed by the fact that she can walk on water, and she seems to be in a canal near a city. So things that live in canals which are not friendly,
like banana boats.
Like those really aggressive guys who want you to go punting.
Geese.
Like you got the regular guys who want you to go punting, and then there are the guys who are like, okay, no thanks.
Okay. Cool.
Like secondhand car salesman, but for punts. Anyway.
Our next one is here.
Well, clearly doing some piratey things. That's somebody in a, that seems to be somebody in like a regular uniform. And also that ship is on fire, so there's that.
It's probably a job not well done, I suppose.
It's like, if you're a pirate, don't you want to like take the ship? I mean, anyway. Okay, based on that, I have decided that these guys are, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Like, really militant, Greenpeace. And so, yep, and so... Look, I have no idea, I'm just making it up. So, really militant Greenpeace, and that's why they set fire to ships, because, and occasionally kill very large predators if they go into the wrong places. Like,
Thoroughly impressed.
Yep, so, sea monsters, but they want to protect the sea monsters and move them places, and that's why they have that weird kind of blunt thing. It's a taser, which means they can stun them and then take them somewhere safe. And then if you hurt the big sea monsters or hunt them in ways that you're not allowed to, then they'll set your ship on fire and stab you.
Okay, so before we move on to the big review, I just wanted to add one last image here. It will not give you any different vibes, but it's just because she's perfect.
That is wonderful.
She's perfect.
She's also gonna... I'm worried that she's going to strangle herself, but, it's very much a vibe.
I gotta say that your answer was better than reality. I wish they were the sea Greenpeace. With all my heart. But the truth is that the complication here is that they don't fight one thing. They fight multiple things.
Okay.
This is a complicated world, Jill. This is a complicated world. So the first thing that they fight is evident, of course. Vampires. Vampires are everywhere. Vampires might teach, they might eat you, but those are not just vampires. Those are Spanish conquistador vampires.
So they are.
Behold.
I love a Spanish conquistador vampire. And look at that helmet. It's just...
Look at the helmet. If in the other examples that I showed you, they didn't put enough attention, enough focus on the headgear, here they excel, and we're gonna get there. How they really excel. But hey, look at that! Look at those little horns.
It's just very. It's just a great look. I mean, I'm concerned about his breastplate, but I am reminded that as a vampire, he doesn't need to breathe.
And here's another classic.
That does look great.
So, do you think this armor could actually work? Because this one looks quite alright to my unprofessional eyes.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the problem is always how low does it go over your hips, and so if it passes your natural waist, like the part where it goes in the narrowest, then you either need something that segments or something that's kind of flared out a bit from that, past past where your body is. So it needs to almost have like a little tiny skirt past your waist, or like a lip or something. Otherwise, you can move a little bit, but you get very stuck. So like the breastplate is probably a little bit long if that's metal, but I mean generally like it's looking pretty good. If I were making it, I would probably either segment it under at the like belt level or make that a little bit shorter so that you can bend. But like it's very much, it is also a vibe, so you know.
Yeah, it is a vibe. Well, as I mentioned, this is not the only people that those pirates are fighting. There is also the fish people, river protectors. I think this counts as something evil in the canal.
Excellent.
And hey, I gotta point out, they're magic people, okay? Magic special rules. This jade armor is cool.
That is very beautiful, and it's very. I love that they have the sort of flowing bits, like the. I used to have like a Siamese fighting fish back when we had fish, like back when we had tropical fish, and it has very similar style to the sort of big frilly bits, which just kind of dangle to make it look impressive. I really like it.
Yeah, here's some more jade armor. There's some jade weapons, which can only be justified by magic, really. But here we are.
Well, here you are in Magic the Gathering. I think you can probably justify it.
And I think this is the coolest art in the set, and it even somewhat, a little bit, justifies a jade armor, because if that thing is floating right next to this guy's forehead, maybe if you hit it really hard, it will not bulge. It's literally floating, you know?
Yeah. If your armor can float above your body, then probably normal rules are on holiday, at least for a little bit of the time.
Yeah. But of course, those two groups are not the only enemies from the pirates. It couldn't be easy. It couldn't be simple. There's also people. And in this case, this very Aztec-inspired empire. And do you catch the Jurassic Park reference here with this little ball thing?
With the amber, with the the thing in it. Yes, I was also thinking he looks a bit like the Emperor from Star Wars.
Oh yeah. Especially in mood. And now we're gonna get to a headgear that I really wanted to show you. I want your opinion on this.
Well, I wouldn't wear it to protect my head necessarily, because you're more likely to not hit it than hit, or rather, if you're going to hit it, what you're probably going to do is hit the big flared out bits at the side of it, and then your head is going to rotate because you've just provided a great deal more moment about the pivot point, which is your neck, and they're a bit, delicate, but It's a very impressive piece. It definitely, you could definitely wear it as a kind of a look at me, I am in charge and you should all listen to me kind of thing. But for practicality's sake, you're looking at a snap neck if anybody hits you on those side pieces, because it'll just go.
But I get what you're saying. It's kind of like the centurion thing with the feathers, with the red feathers, just to show that he's in charge. Could be something like that. Interesting.
I mean, this guy over here on the left of the picture, I mean, his is also sort of very tall, and you'd have trouble if anybody grabbed those horns. But if you're a ranged sort of guy, if someone hits you on the feathers, I assume it's just going to go through the feathers. So as long as you're staying out of melee combat, that one might be okay. And I mean, if you're staying out of melee combat, the other guys would probably be okay, unless somebody is a really good shot.
Yeah, inside and outside of melee combat is not exactly the direction that this is gonna go, because they ride dinosaurs, Jill.
Amazing. They don't wear their helmets while riding dinosaurs, though, obviously.
Hey, there's a guy with some feathers in the background there, alright?
Feathers are not helmets.
Yeah, and this is the main dinosaur lady, called Huatli. She's a very important person in this part of the story.
Okay.
And she has this very unique armor that I don't know how to feel about it, and I wanted to ask you about it.
I mean, she seems to be using her large amounts of hair on her head as her main head protection. But, that aside, like, you can tell that the stuff from her waist, it's different to the vampire one, because the waist is about where the waist should be. And so she's going to be able to twist and bend in that a lot easier than the vampires would be. And you can see that the stuff that's sort of flowing, that it moves. So she's going to have a lot of mobility through her waist and hips. So that's cool. And then she's got kind of scale and greaves and sabatons and all this kind of stuff. Like, does she have a helmet? No, but there comes a point where you have to understand that people don't like covering the heads of their characters, because then you can't see their cool hair. So the rest of it is very cool, and I like it. Oh, she's got scale on her arms too.
Yeah.
And I like those pauldrons. They go out enough that I feel like she's not likely to catch herself in the head if she lifts her arms up. So 2 thumbs up for that. And neck protection. So,
Look at that. I also think it's a bit overkill to protect yourself that much when you can summon a 3-headed giant T-Rex, but, better safe than sorry.
It's true. I mean, it's good to look good and intimidating on the battlefield, and you have to look intimidating next to your 3-headed T-Rex. Otherwise, people might not take you seriously.
People might not notice you.
Oh no, it's a 3-headed T-Rex! Also someone else.
And here's the image that I wanted to show you the most out of this whole thing.
Oh, I am excited.
Which is a T-Rex with a helmet.
That's amazing. A helmet for its tiny little brain. That's wonderful.
You cannot complain about headgear in this particular world.
No, look at that.
There's an abundance of helmets.
I love that.
And look, they covered his hair.
That's true. They covered his head. And gave him a little saddle, and gave him some tail protection so he can hit people with his tail. It's all
lovely.
good.
Lovely jubbly. It's very confusing, this whole thing, because the factions also fight each other. Nobody's a friend.
Okay.
So, you put headgear on the dino, somebody stabs in the belly. It's complicated. But those are the armors I had for you today, Jill.
Oh dear. When Jill Bear-Up attacks, you may put an equipment card from your hand into the battlefield attached to her. So you can just give me whatever weapon I want, is what you're saying here.
this is your concealed weapon ability.
I love
alright?
it. It's just like, it just appears. As if by magic.
I was nerding out about this. What ability can I give to Jill that will make sense? You're the weapons concealer. I tried to fit down the title, but it was too big. So just put your name and give you the ability.
I like it. I will take that. Just the ability to pull weapons from wherever. That was very fun. I forgot the name for werewolves. You know, magic wolves. But I feel like otherwise, you know, I acquitted myself okay. I was a little concerned it was going to be a travesty. But I think it worked out alright.
You did great.
Regardless of how true that statement is, I had fun and I hope you did too. If you're interested in world building or writing, check out Jorium's channel, which I will link in the description and the pinned comment. I will see you soon for some armor reviews, and Caroline and Rosamund will see you soon for a masquerade ball that took a turn that Caroline was not anticipating. I had a beautiful evening planned. Candlelight, flirting, dancing. What do I get? Take care.